HBO's The Last of Us was a solid attempt at adapting a beloved video game into a live-action series. While the show has plenty of high points, Season 1's biggest flaws lie in the story's approach to how it adapts its source material. The result is an uneven mix between a compelling television drama and a carbon copy of the 2013 game.
It isn't gonna work, it doesn't aim right. You dick.
The best adaptations are the ones that play to the strengths of the medium they're being adapted for. Telling an original version of the source material is what gives an adaptation its own identity separate from its adapted medium. Does this work for HBO's The Last of Us? Kind of. Season 1 fluctuates between its own take of these characters and a one-to-one facsimile, both creating conflicting effects. The strongest moments of the show are the episodes that tell their own version of the story's events or supplements existing characters. An example of great adaptation can be seen through a character who's been successfully adapted into just about every medium. Batman. Whether it's movies, animation, or video games, Batman has been translated into adaptations that are still loved to this day. What do Batman the Animated Series, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, and Rocksteady's Arkham series all have in common? I mean, besides Batman. They each have their own identity that's distinctly separate from the comic book version of our favorite masked vigilante. These versions make for great movies, animated shows, and video games. However, these versions don't make for great comic books. When it comes to adaptations, there's a misconception that having an original take on the source material is a bad thing. It's not. Unsuccessful adaptations are often a result of too many creative liberties taken to the point of being unrecognizable to its fans. I won't mention any names, but a fresh telling of the source material is not inherently a bad idea. In fact, it's crucial for an adaptation to stand on its own. The core tenets of what make the characters who they are and the DNA of their world is what needs to be maintained wherever it's adapted. HBO's The Last of Us tries to have it both ways. When adaptations copy their source material directly, it tends to become soulless. This is what happened to Netflix's Cowboy Bebop. The creators were so adamant about recreating the look and feel of the anime that the show ended up having no voice of its own. It didn't add anything that the source material didn't already do. While not nearly in the same boat, parts of HBO's The Last of Us fall victim to this same problem. The weakest parts of the show are the moments where it recreates cutscenes from the video game or recites the game dialogue verbatim. This is great for fans of the game to see their favorite moments recreated in live action, but they don't strengthen the show at large. If you remove the prestige of The Last of Us from the HBO show, it's clear that several emotional beats don't hit like they should. The show doesn't build to or earn these moments in a way that's comparable to the video game. These moments feel contrived as a result. For fans of the video game, this mirroring of the source material creates something called interpretive doubling. It's a conceptual flipping back and forth between the work we know and the work we are experiencing. You spend more time comparing the video game version of these moments in your head than being immersed in the show right in front of you. For a knowing audience, the emotional weight of the Last of Us series also comes into question. Are the beats in the HBO show truly compelling, or are we placing the emotion we experienced from the game on top of the adaptation? Additionally, copying the story beats exactly creates a feeling of going through the motions, diluting your emotional investment. If you've never played the games but found the show emotionally engaging, it's more of a testament to the acting than the writing, and the acting is pretty damn good. The strongest parts of HBO's take on The Last of Us are when it adds layers to established characters or adds additional context to its world. Two of the best episodes of the season involved Bill and Frank, and later Sam and Henry. Both of these episodes have something in common. Batman. Just kidding. They take the DNA of the characters we love from the game and tell a version of their story that's tailored for a television drama. In the game, we don't get much from Bill's character other than that he's fortified his town and that he's lost someone he cares about. HBO's version of Bill expands his character and delves deeper into his relationship with Frank, which is only briefly mentioned in the game. Similarly, with Sam and Henry, the HBO show gives us more insight into who these brothers are. In the game, Sam and Henry are two brothers escaping a dangerous city, but there isn't much more to their core motivations beyond that. What's great about HBO's version of each of these characters is that if you return to the game, the show enhances your next playthrough. This is what great adaptations should strive for, not to be a carbon copy, but to elevate and build upon the source material. It is an engagement with the original text that makes us see that text in a different way. Characters have more depth because another adaptation added additional layers that didn't exist before. Without playing the game, these two episodes stand out as great dramas. Their telling enables them to not lean on the game for support. It's not surprising that the two episodes that take the most creative liberties are the ones that people seem to love the most.
That's so good, it makes me upset that I didn't think about it.
The next couple of seasons of The Last of Us could be much stronger by further separating itself from the game and having its own voice. HBO's The Last of Us doesn't break the gaming curse, but it is a small turning point for translating video games for a non-gaming audience. My hopes for HBO's The Last of Us is that it grabs the brass ring of 6 seasons and a movie, but it won't get there copying the game. Even a show like The Walking Dead had to separate itself from the comics. For better or worse, it ran for 11 seasons because of it. If the show spends most of its time recreating cutscenes instead of being an original take, it'll feel closer to a movie novelization. For some people, that's all they want, which is fine. But the show won't have much longevity with its current approach to adaptation. To have the staying power of something like The Walking Dead, HBO's The Last of Us needs to find its own voice as a television show. Otherwise, it'll become an expensive advertisement for the game and be a less compelling version of a story that's already been told.